Hi, my name is Eric. I live at Hebron, and I'm going to be giving you the story of Las Vegas in a nutshell. In 1855 is when Nevada was discovered. Is that true? Yes. Back looking at Las Vegas today, and I guess back in 1855, it's like night and day. I mean, there would be obviously there's nothing going on back in 1855. I don't even know how they even had somebody who was there to write down what was going on. Like, how did they know there was not a neon light in sight? How did they know that? I don't think that's possible. But I can imagine though, just from stuff alone, technology and advancements, that Las Vegas looks nothing like what it looks like today. Let's go back to this thing. That's man. Brigham Young was from Las Vegas. I thought he was from Utah. No, Utah. Isn't the Mormons from Utah? And the Brigham Young. Isn't that why they have Brigham Young universities in Utah, right? So why is that here in? I don't. Oh, sent by Brigham Young. I see. To build a Adobe fort. Is that like the reader, the computer thing? Is that where we got that name? Adobe Acrobat reader. They were, you know, they were sent here, or they were sent here by the Paiute tribe. That's like the smoke shop down on Formaster. They had the cigarettes. They had hell of cheap cigarettes too. They had like $3.99 for a pack of cigarettes, where everywhere else was like $12 for cigarettes. But them Indians, they know how to treat the tobacco. They were good. I mean, when I used to smoke, that was a lifesaver, because I never could pay $12 for a pack of cigarettes. But I could pay $4 all day. I used to get $4 cigarettes, and I would charge people 75 cents for the cigarette. So I make, $15 for a pack. I pay $4 for a pack. Boom, easy money. That was easy. And then there were some people who was to go and buy the tobacco and roll it, like what's his name upstairs does. And they sold them for 10 cents a piece. That was crazy. That put people like me out of business, because I wasn't going to sell them for 10 cents. Hell no. I needed to make some money. If I was going to do something illegal, I got to get paid for it. I'm not going to do something for no minimum wage and it had to be illegal. That would make no sense. Hell no. That would be bad business decision. And then, those felonies, no one does felonies for free. And let's see, where else were we? And you mean the heat was bad in Las Vegas back then too? I didn't know that. I thought that the heat would have gotten worse through the years, but I guess it didn't. It was probably bad, maybe hot. No humidity though, because it's a dry heat. That's what they used to tell me when I lived in Florida. I used to live in Miami, where it's like 120 degrees every day, but it's like 100% humidity. And when I was coming out to Vegas, everyone in Florida told me, "Well, it's a dry heat." I had no idea what the hell that meant. What is a dry heat? I see the weather where it says Las Vegas is going to be like 120 degrees, 130 degrees. Hot is hot. That made no sense. I came out here to work, so I said, "Good." I left everyone in Florida and came out here to the heat. But man, dry heat. Man, I can remember those conversations. I'm trying to get a definition of what dry heat was. Remember that for a good 6 months. Once I decided I was going to be coming out here, that was like my main question to people: is what is a dry heat? What is a dry heave? I knew what a dry heave was. And drinking with an empty stomach, you be dry heaving all over the place. Ooh, terrible. And for decades, it was just a quiet ranch run by folks like Helen Stewart. How do you figure out who happened? Oh, the first lady of Las Vegas? Is that like a real thing? Like, was she a first lady because she was married to the president of Las Vegas? Is that what happened? I don't get it. Why was she the first lady? She wasn't the first lady to live in Las Vegas, I can tell you that. there's more than one lady coming to Vegas, right? I mean, Vegas is known for ladies, you know, ladies, working girls type stuff, and she might have been the first lady, but that's by name only. You know, they might have crowned her first lady, but shit, she probably was ugly too. I'm gonna Google a picture of Helen Stewart. See, because she can't, yeah. Especially back in 1855. Can you imagine what imagine what the bride looked like back in 1855? She probably got like one of them big old porno bushes type thing that they had, and a unibrow. Could you imagine? Oh, had hair under the armpits and all that shit. Oh, god damn. So gross. That makes me nauseous just thinking of just saying that. I don't even know why I said that. That's terrible. My bad, anybody listening. That's whatever. The first lady of Las Vegas, all the way up until the time the railroad rolled in. The railroad rolled in 1905. So 10 years after Vegas was founded, discovered, came the railroad. And a guy named William Clark. What was his name, William Clark? Did he have a nickname, or was it a middle name or something like that? William Clark? Huh. Is that where Clark County was named after? Or was it William? Or was it, did he get a nickname of Bill? Was that where William and Bill, you know, kind of go together? But William Clark auctioned off 110 acres of dirt under the sweltering sun. And just like that, the city was born on paper. The city lives on paper. I mean, today, shit, every city lives on paper, but Vegas, paper is the money. Yeah, you get that. Had to get that paper to get the name that we got right now, and that was even still, that was 150 years ago. Anyway, now the mob. See, there's a subject that I hold near and dear to my heart. Being from Brooklyn, New York, we have I call it Mafia Town, USA. That was the name of my city. And that's where really the only connection between me doing this here today and being like talking about Las Vegas is the mob tie, because Brooklyn, Mob Town, USA, here they took all the guys from Brooklyn and brought them out here, and then they made Vegas Mob Town, USA. And that's the only link. But I mean, they took everybody. Everybody came out here, like all the gangsters, like even Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra. That was my boy. He's still my boy to this day. I love Frank Sinatra. I love Frank. My grandparents loved Frank, and they introduced me to Frank, and he was great. I was surprised as I was growing up how many people just didn't like Frank Sinatra. I didn't understand that. I did not like Frank Sinatra. That seemed like sacrilege to me, like blasphemy. But anyway, the mob didn't build the city, but they sure as hell gave it its soul, or lack thereof. That's a good one, lack thereof. But that's disrespectful, lady. Damn, lack thereof. Ugh. Man, there was a lot of. I mean, there's so many movies. Every mob movie growing up that I watched, at some point in time, all came through Las Vegas. I mean, there's Casino, there's Goodfellas, there's The Godfather. I mean, all of them, all came through Las Vegas at some point. And then we even got a couple of gangsters here on the property, like Humphrey Bogart is back there. We're wearing the same damn clothes for a year and a half now. He doesn't want to change his uniform. But Humphrey Bogart is right there in front of room 110. He's a good dude. I always thought for a long time ago that was actually Bugsy Siegel. I didn't know it was Humphrey Bogart until I Google lensed him, and they pulled up just Humphrey Bogart, and I saw the exact same statue, and that was it. I was like, man, I'd much rather it have been Bugsy Siegel though, because that's a real gangster. Humphrey Bogart is nothing. Like, who the hell's Humphrey Bogart? He's just an actor. Bugsy was the man. Let's see. I lost my space. Oh well, let's go. Two things happened that changed everything. They legalized gambling. Man, that was a game changer. That's putting it lightly, I think, right? And they started building the Hoover Dam. Why is that up there? The Hoover Dam, is that where they recycle the toilet water now? Do they do that? Man, that's disgusting. I can't believe when I came out and I heard that, I was like, man, I'm living in a city that drinks fucking toilet water. Really? What gave him, what, in anybody's God-given creative mind, what makes them think that drinking toilet water was a good idea? Man, I don't care. Like, you could go bring in water from the ocean and put it through that same type of filtering system and you'll be fine. You're saying, why's it gotta be toilet water though? So now I gotta think about me drinking the piss of my neighbor. Me gargling the shit of my cousin that lives across the street. I mean, man. No, that's just terrible. Anyway. Now, thousands of workers with nothing to do but spend their paychecks flooded the valley by the 40s. The mafia saw an open city where they could wash their dirty money in the desert. Bugsy Siegel opened the Flamingo. Now, I don't know if that doesn't really do it justice. I mean, when you say that they were able to wash their money, I could spend probably about an hour and a half just on that topic alone. Let me launder some money. I'll show you how that goes. I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to keep it fit. I'm not going to say nothing about that. That's crazy. But I don't understand, why is Vegas good for laundering money, but Billings, Montana isn't? I don't get that. Why do you do it here? Now Bugsy Siegel opening the Flamingo, yeah, that was big, because that opened the floodgates to all the other ones that came along. And that would be, I mean, you talk about influential people in Vegas. Bugsy Siegel really should have been the founder of Vegas, even though it was like 50, 60 years after Vegas was founded. If it wasn't for Bugsy, the city would have went bankrupt, been gone, over. Earth should have opened up and swallowed it. And Vegas's mom should have swallowed. What's happening? That's terrible. But Bugsy Siegel, man, he's man. That's why one of the reasons I was hoping that statue was with Bugsy, but then Gary tells me it was Humphrey Bogart. Google Lens told me it was Humphrey Bogart. I'm still disputing it, but I really can't fight with Google. You know, AI is on the chain and they're doing the thing. Whatever. And the Sleepy Railroad stop was the national headquarters for organized crime. Man, another sore subject, organized crime. Why's it got to be called organized crime? I don't think that makes any sense, because you know the mob didn't name organized crime. They didn't do that. Why would they name anything crime that they were participating in? If anything, it was just organized. Forget about all the other gangs out here. The original gang, the true OG, was the Cosa Nostra, the mob. That was the shit. And they did whatever they had to do to get by. And on top of that, they didn't have to talk about it. They just went about their business. All they were about was getting that paper. And women. They had a lot of women. They had a lot of... In New York, it wouldn't be uncommon to see one mobster with like 3 different homes. And 2 wives in each home. Yeah. So you got one block in Brooklyn. You got one block. Maybe had 20 houses on it. Out of those 20 houses were all owned by, 4 people. And those 4 people, they all had, 4 or 5 wives, or 6 wives, 2 per house, pretty much. And the wives would, one wife would be, the top wife would be in the apartment, and the bottom bitch would be in the basement. I mean, bottom bitch means something different in Brooklyn than it does out here in Vegas. Bottom bitch is your best bitch out here. But in New York, bottom bitch is the bottom. That's where it goes. There's no no hidden meaning to it like out here on the West Coast. Like, I don't. West Coast people are crazy. Like the mob didn't do that good of a job when they go about putting their influence out here. Besides, the money in the casino, because if they would have brought some of the vernacular, and that would have made things a lot easier for people who were, going back and forth, or people who were coming from the East Coast to the West Coast. It would have made things a lot easier, smoother transition if the lingo was the same, But no, we live in the same country, but East Coast and West Coast speak two different languages. Whatever. Now, the Mormons never really left. Now, those are my heroes right there. I mean, you got the mob, but the Mormons, they were able to marry multiple women and keep it legal. They did it legally. They're true gangsters right there. That's unbelievable. Like, how could you? All right, so the mob better had a couple wives on her block. All right, fine, whatever. I just said that. But the Mormons, they had a couple wives on each block. But it was also legit. Like, they weren't getting arrested. They were. Polygamy was the end thing to do. True gangsters right there. They gangstered the whole city with that shit. Whole state. Utah's known for Mormons, and that's what. Have you ever met a Mormon like face to face, like, that had that shit? The only time I've ever seen one like in real, like, was on that show. I've never seen one in real life. I just seen them on TV, but hey, their life looks like a hella charmed on TV though, because I don't know how each one of them motherfuckers got money. They got like 3 wives, and they're all living in like these mansions. What the hell do they do for work? How did they get that? Man, sign me up for that shit. Living like that and got multiple wives? Oh, man. Who got it better than them? Nobody. And, alright. Even while the mob ran the floor, a Mormon banker named Perry Thomas was the one actually financing the casinos, because legitimate banks wouldn't touch them. Oh, God. Ain't that some shit? I mean, that's terrible. You got these companies out here that are making money. They're building the city, but the banks don't want to touch it because they're gangsters. It had nothing to do with the money they would make. The money was killing whatever the minimum criteria would have been. It was because of the negative connotation of what a mobster is. And that's a damn shame. Because them banks lost out on so much. And who knows? I mean, if that one decision would have been different, the banks would have profited a hell of a lot more. But then the gangsters would have profited a hell of a lot more, because they would have had some legitimacy behind them. And they might have been able to stay here and build up this city even better than what it is today. But, oh, you're going to get me heated on that shit, man. Alright, now. He even changed the law to allow corporate ownership, which ironically helped push the mob out of the picture. Now that's the key phrase right there, is change the law. Because that's what Vegas is known for with their cowboy cops. Changing the law. Because if you get arrested today and what they did wasn't illegal, tomorrow they're going to write a statute to make it illegal what you did today, so they can have a reason to arrest you. I've seen it happen. First time I was arrested in my life, I was 39 years old. I've never in trouble a day in my life. You know what I was arrested for? Riding my bike on a sidewalk. 39 years old. First time I was arrested was for riding my bike on the sidewalk. Man, I tell you, I didn't care. I mean, I went off on the cop. Really, because I asked the cop how old you gotta be. How old or how young do you gotta be to ride your bike on the sidewalk? He said, nope, can't do it. It's illegal here in Nevada. I said, how big or how small is that bike gotta be in order to ride your bike on the sidewalk? He's like, nope, can't do it here in Nevada. And at that point is when I went off, because I said, are you telling me my fucking 8-year-old kid has to learn how to ride his bike in the street? And that's when he arrested me. Right when I said that. I'm like, you fucking cowboy cop. piece of shit. Man, I could not stand it. I couldn't believe that I was getting arrested for that. Nothing on my record. Man, they just, that guy just hated, he hated white people. But the messed up thing was, he was white. He was white. I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, how's that? Man, so then I actually went and when I was in jail, I said to the judge on the TV, I asked him the same things, and that bitch judge gave me the same answers, and I just kept on going with it. And finally, the judge tried to shut me up. Yeah, you can shut me up maybe if I was in court. You know, you can get somebody to cover my mouth or whatever. You can't shut me up if I'm on TV. You can't do that shit. Hell nah. So I kept on going. I was going after it, and finally the judge just hung up on me. She disconnected the TV, and then she sentenced me to the longest possible time that she could under the Vegas law, which was the whole 2 days that she gave me, and I served it like a champ. I did. I went in, I took them 2 days. I said, fuck you, judge. I took that. I'm fine with that. Anyway, I digress. That was bad. I got completely off topic on that one, but that's what happened. That happened 10 years ago, and I'm still that heated about it. Man, who knows? If I didn't get arrested then, my whole life could have been different. You know. And where am I? Okay, it's Vegas is the city built on the unlikely handshake between the saint and the sinner. That's a good saying. I like that. Whoever came up with that was a good one. It's an unlikely handshake between the saint and the sinner. Very true. Very true. That's Vegas right there. Man. Oh man, how did that happen? Here? I know you want to look at it. Yeah, go ahead. Knock yourself out there, bud. don't have to bite your face off. Your girlfriend don't hate me that. She really would hate me that. That bite your face off. Now, would you like to dive deeper into the Hoover Games? Impact on the city's growth and specific crimes that led to the mob's downfall? No, we don't want to read that. We would like to investigate and build up the mob's impact on the city. Kind of like what they have at in Fremont, that mob museum. Go take a look at it. It's a good time. And it's to see what the downfall of the mob is, to see what the downfall. It starts with the bank. Started with the bank, like I said earlier. Started with the banks, and then not giving us the access and the permissions and the money that we needed to succeed. So basically, when they kicked the mob out, the people who came in after them took over a ready-made business, and it really isn't not any fault of the mob, but the fault of all of the pencil pushers back in the 40s and 50s that wanted to go ahead and take credit for all the work that these hard-working Italian Americans did. You know what I'm saying? It's not right. But regardless, the mob's got their footprint out here in Vegas, in Brooklyn, and you know, if you want to do any more look into it, you could look at the website, Las Vegas, and God bless y'all. See you later. Good night.